Fox Sports.
We are the fourth. We are Detroit.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
It is a rare Thursday matinee here in the Motor City. The last 2 days, the north side of Chicago represented. Today, the south side is in town. It is Players Weekend. Nicknames on the backs of all the jerseys, Tigers and the White Sox from Comerica. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba alongside Rod Allen. Glad to have you with us here. Game one of the series. Chicago back in town. It seems like, Rod, we've seen these guys a ton the last week. We'll see them 4 more days here this weekend. Tigers have dominated them.
You know, not only have the Tigers dominated the White Sox, they played some of their best baseball right here at Comerica Park. Let's hope that continues for this 4-game series. The Tigers will not have to go up against Jose Abreu, the very talented first baseman of the White Sox. He is on the disabled list, so they don't have to deal with him in the 4-game series.
Other good news, Matt Boyd facing the White Sox for the first time since last September when he nearly no-hit him.
Well, Matthew Boyd has been tremendous in his last 6 starts. Take a look at the overall body of work. 2.95 ERA with a 193 opponent's average. He's punched out 34, but you brought it up, partner. Last year, when he pitched against this White Sox team, the last time he saw them, probably the best that we'd ever seen him. Using that fastball very aggressively inside. I think Matthew may have gotten up to 95 that day. He had a real nice breaking ball. He had a usable changeup, and he kept them off balance all day long until the 9th inning. That's when a double by their very talented Tim Anderson into the right center field gap. No runs given up, only 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. He threw a career-high 121 pitches in that contest. Matthew Boyd is finishing this season just like he did last year, but he has a few more starts to go.
All right, Tigers have won 9 of the 12 between the two teams. Stay with us. Game 1 in the series just minutes away. After a short break to the Coliseum we go, and John Keating will be by. We'll talk about Nick Castellanos. He is licking his chops. 392 this year against the Sox. Tigers Chicago coming up next.
That's what he's wearing for Players Weekend. It's ironic the Tigers and White Sox have played 12 times so far this season, but Matthew Boyd has not faced Chicago yet this season. He was absolutely terrific in a near no-hitter against them last September in Chicago. Welcome back to the Call Sam studio. Game time approaches. I'm John Keating. Did you know, and I'm going to guess that you probably didn't, the Tigers have played more day games than any other team in the American League. This is the 59th game they will play under the sunshine, and they have a better winning percentage in day games than at night. They're 27 and 31 in matinees, and they're looking to add to that here this afternoon. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica. By Ram, hurry in and get a great deal at the Ram Labor Day sales event. And by Greektown Casino Hotel, the only casino in the heart of downtown Detroit. Mario and Rod and first pitch all coming up in a moment. Degrees our game time temperature. The Tigers and the White Sox game one in this series. And for the Tigers, it'll be Matt Boyd on the hill, presented today by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
And Matthew checks in with 7 wins and 11 losses, but probably pitching his best baseball of the year in his last 6 outings. His ERA is very good. Overall, 4.27 ERA for Matthew. Fastball, curveball, slider, and a changeup, all part of his 4-pitch mix.
Here is the lineup he will face today, presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. And for the White Sox, it'll be Anderson, Lamar, and Garcia in the top 3 spots. No Jose Abreu
He is on the DL. They've got Davidson, Rondon, and Moncada in the middle. Narvaez, Sanchez, and they've got Engel wrapping it up in the starting 9 today.
And Tigers defensively behind Matthew Boyd this afternoon. Matuk in left field. Gerber's out in center. Victor Reyes, he's over in right field. Iglesias and Rodriguez up the middle. Candelario Aduce on the corners. And Grayson Griner is catching Matthew Boyd. As a matter of fact, Grayson told me today he's caught Matthew more than he's caught any other starter on the staff.
There should be some familiarity there. Here are the umpires. It'll be Phil Cuzzy, the crew chief behind the dish in this one. You've got Hammery, Blackney, and Bellino rounding out the 4-man crew this afternoon. Tim Anderson getting set to lead things off for the Chicago White Sox. It'll be Anderson, Lamar, and Garcia facing Matthew Boyd.
Be very careful with Anderson on first pitch fastballs. He's got 17 homers, and he hunts fastballs early.
And there's a strike called on Anderson to start this one this afternoon. 246 batting average, 17 long balls, 5 of those in the leadoff variety in his career. There's a strike called, and the count 0-2 now on Anderson.
And already Matthew establishing that fastball on the inside corner, that last one at 92 miles an hour.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Checked it low, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Been a trying year for the White Sox. They are like the Tigers in rebuilding mode. 25 out in the Central, behind the Tigers in the standings. 1-2 the count stays on the shortstop. Matty B, that is the nickname that Boyd has on his jersey here on Players Weekend. We'll see all the different players and their nicknames throughout the course of the next few days. That'll miss inside, and it almost hit him. 2-2 on Anderson.
If you were a player and you could put a name on the jersey, what would be your nickname?
Oh man, there are many. You know, I'd probably go with the obvious one, Super Mario.
Super Mario?
Yeah, probably.
That's cool.
How about you? Hot Rod?
Probably Hot Rod or Rocket Rod would be one of the two that I would probably go with.
What were you called mostly when you played?
Hot Rod.
Hot Rod?
Yeah, Hot Rod. When I played over in Japan, they called me Rocketto.
I like it.
They did. Rocketto.
Now the 2-2. Line to right field, slicing foul.
This has been a pretty good at-bat for Anderson. Anderson's one of those guys that if you get ahead of him, as Matthew was able to get ahead of him early in this count, usually you can put him away with an off-speed pitch. But he's been swinging the bat well lately. As a matter of fact, several players on their team have been swinging the bats lately. It's going to be a challenge for Boyd this afternoon.
Boyd, like he was last year, throwing his best baseball down the stretch. That is popped up first base side for Aduce. To the grass he goes, and 1 gone. They finally retired Tim Anderson. It'll bring up Brian Lamar. Matt Boyd, or Matty B, has an ERA of 2.95 in his last 6 starts.
Pretty good.
And the key as well, Rod, he's not walking many guys.
I just love the way that he's reestablished his fastball. At the beginning of the season, Boyd was throwing a lot of breaking balls, and the velocity on his fastball was 88 to 90. His last 6 starts, he's kind of rediscovered that fastball. He's been throwing it with much more frequency. And because of that, Mario, he's starting to touch 94.
Which is where we saw him earlier in his career.
That's right.
0-2 now on Lamar, the Jackson Lumen Christie product. Here's the 0-2. Now one hopper hit to left, a base hit for Lamar. 0-2 single for Lamar.
It looked like they went to the location that they wanted it. I mean, Griner is up in the strike zone. They want the ball up. It looks like he throws it right up there, but Lamar was up there looking for it and took 92 and whistled it to left field for a solid single. I guess now you know you got to get it a little bit higher against Lamar in that same type of situation should it come up again.
Well, with Abreu on the DL, it looks like a lot of the offensive production now is going to fall on the shoulders of Avisail Garcia, who has had a subpar year by his recent standards. Garcia batting .235.
Yeah, they thought that Avisail was going to turn the corner this particular season after making his first All-Star team last year, but it's been a season that's been interrupted with a couple of different injuries for Garcia.
He'll look at a ball outside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
It's no doubt he has a lot of talent. I mean, he's got speed, he's got size, he's got a really good arm, he's got some power. Not a whole lot that Avi doesn't have. He's got to put it all together, though.
Yeah, the physical skills are certainly there. Runner goes on 1-1. Here's the throw from Griner. Is high. The tag not in time. Stolen base for Lamar, his first of the year.
He got a pretty good jump, and he went on first movement. He was guessing that Matthew Boyd was not going to throw to first base. He was going to throw the ball home, and as soon as that leg went up, Lamar was off and running, and he was able to steal that bag, although it was a pretty strong throw down to Rodriguez by Lamar. By Griner, excuse me.
So put Lamar at second now. A chance to drive it a run early here for Garcia. Missing low, 3-1. Garcia broke in the Tigers organization, then was dealt away in the trade that brought Jose Iglesias to Detroit. Popped up first base side. Ducey coming toward the railing. He reaches and he just can't quite get there.
So nice effort here by Ducey, who is continuing to learn how to play first base. It's a big pitch right here for Boyd against Garcia in the first. You've got a base open, but you don't want to really mess with Davidson, the on-deck hitter. Yeah, but you can throw another breaking ball. You just have to get it down in the strike zone this time if that's the pitch you want to go to.
Slicing away from the right fielder and foul. So early on here, the White Sox are working Matthew Boyd deep into counts.
The one thing that Boyd really has never had, and he may not really ever have it, and that's a legitimate strikeout pitch. But that doesn't mean you can't have success up here. I mean, you can get some soft contact, you can get some pop-ups and some ground balls and some occasional strikeouts. You don't have to be a huge strikeout guy or a guy that has a legitimate swing and miss pitch to be really good up here.
Matthew only 5 walks in his last 6 starts total, 34 strikeouts in that stretch. Garcia stepping out. First of 4 this weekend between these two squads. They will get to know each other quite well. Played last week, playing 4 here, and on the road trip they'll play in Chicago coming up. High fly ball into left field, hit deep. Backing up is Matuk. He's under it. Runner will tag, and the throw comes into third base. Garcia retired, 2 away. Hey, stay tuned to Tigers Live. Following the game, we'll be selecting the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers player of the game, presented by McDonald's. Here is Matt Davidson. Davidson batting cleanup today, enjoying a 6-game hitting streak for Chicago. So on Players Weekend here, we've got Matty D in the batter's box facing Matty B on the mound. Players will wear these jerseys all weekend.
Well, which Matty's going to win the battle?
B. Driven foul down the left field line.
I was just getting ready to say that Matthew needs to be very careful with Davidson. Davidson has good numbers against the Tigers in his career, better numbers than he has against any team that he's played against. And you do have that base open down at first base, so it's not all bad. If you get yourself in a situation where you don't need to pitch to him, let him go to first base and then go after the on-deck hitter, Mr. Rondon.
Here's the 0-1. Checked it. Strike called by Phil Cuzzy. 0-2 the count. The White Sox are without Rick Renteria, their manager. He was suffering from some lightheadedness. He's back in Chicago undergoing further testing. So Joe McEwing, the bench coach, will be skippering this series.
It must be kind of serious, though, because he's been out for like 4 games now.
Yes, yeah, it's been 4 games.
If my memory serves me correctly, I think Joe McEwing may have interviewed for the Tigers vacancy before Ron Gardenhire got hired this offseason.
McEwing, a longtime baseball man.
Yep, he's a lifer.
The 1-2 outside, 2-2 the count.
Ron Gardenhire sent a text over to Rick Renteria, the manager of the Chicago White Sox, just to let him know that he was thinking about him. It's a really nice, close fraternity of managers, players in our great game of baseball.
McEwing did manage in the Fall League a couple of years back. He is in his 11th season now with Chicago, 2nd year as the bench coach. Meanwhile, the pitch count's starting to elevate here now.
Yeah, Joe was a good player. The manager in waiting. He'll get a job at some point in time.
Scrappy player.
Yes, he was.
Here's the 24th pitch now for Boyd. Fly ball center field should get him out of the inning. It's Gerber under it, and that is that. No runs, 1 hit, a stolen base, and a man left. Was able to get the White Sox through a bunch of pitches, though. The Tigers starting lineup here, presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers, and for the Tigers, Candelario, Iglesias, Castellanos, your top 3. Nick is DHing today. Then Aducey, Matuk, and Ronnie Rodriguez. Griner, Gerber, and Reyes, your bottom 3 for Detroit. What a gorgeous day here today. Some scattered puffy clouds in the neighborhood, but otherwise sunshiny skies and nice temperatures in the 70s. James Shields goes to work, and Jamer looks at a ball outside, 1-0.
James Shields does not throw as hard as he used to throw. He's a little different these days. His fastball right around 88 to 89. He throws lots of curveballs. He'll use his changeup. He also has that cut fastball. He likes to run it on the right-handed hitter's hands. That was that cut fastball right there that's been a really effective pitch for Shields.
And James today presented by MGM Grand Detroit, a veteran guy that's been around a long time.
I've never seen a third baseman play Candelario on the grass the way that Yolmer Sanchez was.
Sanchez sliding attempt, couldn't quite get there.
And because he was playing so shallow on the grass, he almost was able to make that play.
Normally on the shift you will see guys midway on the dirt, not typically on the grass.
Because I don't know if Candelario has bunted for one base hit this year.
No, that really hasn't been part of his arsenal.
No.
Now he's going to back up with 2 strikes, with the bunt not being a possibility here.
Candy's had some good at-bats lately. He's starting to perk up after having a sizzling start to the 2018 campaign. Had to make some adjustments, had to move off the plate as the league adjusted to Candy and started busting him inside with a lot of hard fastballs.
It's been kind of a growing year for a lot of the Tigers players. Still a very young roster up and down. When you look at guys like Candelario, Reyes, Goodrum, they've all gotten some meaty playing time. Aducey as well.
Valuable experience.
Drilled to center field, not deep on the charge angle. Sliding, tumbling, and holding on. He can play some center field.
Well, there's not a whole lot that is going to go up in center field today that Mr. Engel will not run down. He is one of your better center fielders in our sport. He's got some world-class speed out there. Gets a late break on this particular ball off of Candelario's bat, but able to recover with his blazing speed.
Engel this year has already made some highlight catches. Here's Iglesias. Jose batting .267, 5 homers this year, and has settled into the 2 spot in the lineup these days for the Tigers. Oh, 0-2. Shields now 36 years old, born in Newhall, California. Yanked foul. Tigers have seen him plenty of times. In fact, so has everybody else in baseball. Since the start of '06, only Justin Verlander has started more games than Shields. It'll chopper up the middle. Anderson to his left. Got him by a step. 2 gone.
Let's take a look at the defensive alignment behind the veteran pitcher James Shields this afternoon. They've got Lamar in left field. Engel, we told you he can really play some center field. Garcia, the former Tiger, he's anchored over in right field. Sanchez, Anderson, Moncada, Davidson, they round out the infield, and Omar Narvaez, the battery mate today of James Shields.
Engel already has made a tumbling play out there in center for the Sox.
Well, he has a pretty nice a human highlight reel he's compiled already this year. He's made some spectacular catches.
Popped him up. Castellanos into shallow right center field. 3 defenders converge, and it's Garcia. And a 1-2-3 start for James Shields.
the hill for Tigers, and Chevrolet's most dependable player on pace to lead the Tigers in innings pitched. And that would be the first lefty for the Tigers to do so since Mike Maroth back in '04. Boyd goes to work and delivers a high strike to Jose Rondon. Moncada to follow, and then Narvaez.
How clean is that man right there, Mario, on a Thursday afternoon?
As you like to say, cleaner than the Board of Health.
You know it. Now, would you do some suspenders? Have you ever done these suspenders?
I will admit I've thought about it, but it's just way above my pay grade.
I have a pair that my family bought me probably 2 years ago, man, and I haven't
worn them.
I haven't worn them yet.
Why not?
I don't know.
1-2 the count. See, they would be perfect for you.
I think I might bust them out in the studio one day.
And then a bow tie?
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Sounds great.
Let me know when you do it. I want to take a photograph of that. Now the 1-2 to Rondon.
Matthew Boyd has been pounding that fastball inside, and Griner thought that was strike 3. He came up, and Griner was getting ready to fire that ball down to third base. So apparently Mr. Phil Cuzzy must have missed it. Where was it? Oh my goodness. That's right down the middle, ain't it?
Sure was.
Oh no. That was right down the middle. I mean, the only thing that I could think of is maybe that 6'5" frame that Griner has at times can block the umpire from getting a real nice view, but that's just being kind to Mr. Phil Cuzzy.
That is the challenge of tall catchers, staying low. That'll miss inside. Now the count on Rondon goes full, 3-2.
How about that 94-mile-per-hour fastball? Firm, four-seam. This is where he can go backdoor with the breaking ball. He can fade a changeup down and away to get strike 3.
Popped up. First base side to the grass. And look out. It's the right fielder Reyes who comes charging in to make the catch.
That's one thing we know about Victor Reyes. He will go after the ball regardless of where it's at. If that ball goes up, if he's playing center field, you better get out of his way.
Gardy was talking about this just the other day.
I mean, look at him. I mean, he's a wild stallion out there.
Gardy says sometimes like a free safety coming to make a hit.
Yeah. He looks good out there, though, but he looks good in his uniform.
Moncada waves and misses. Now Reyes has played all 3 outfield positions, mostly center field lately, but Jacoby Jones is out. They wanted to get Gerber in, and so they put Reyes in right.
Jacoby Jones told me that he's probably just a couple of days away. He can come off the disabled list when he's eligible. Said he did some base running yesterday. He's running full speed, so we should see Jacoby soon.
I believe he's going on a rehab, is what Gardy was saying the other day. Don't know how long that rehab will be.
Shouldn't be too long because he wasn't out very long.
No.
Maybe 1 game.
Here's the 1-2. Moncada takes inside, 2-2.
And Jacoby Jones has a Juicy J on his back today. Juicy J.
Swing and a miss, and the strikeout bugaboo strikes Moncada again. 2 gone. As you enjoy a Miller Lite, look forward to the whole true moment later in today's game. Here is Narvaez.
And left-handers hit Boyd at a 261 clip last year. They're only batting 233 against him this season, which is good. It's not Francisco Liriano good, but it's really good. How about Liriano last night for the first 4 frames? He was pretty good, wasn't he?
He was really good, and then as things have happened for him throughout the course of the year, he got into the middle innings and just couldn't keep it going.
Yeah, I really like the pace that he was working with. I think in 4 innings he only threw 50 pitches last night.
Time now for StatCast AI, powered by AWS. The numbers on Narvaez, you see up the middle and towards second base, his red area. 2-2 on a guy who's had some big hits against the Tigers this year. He's hit a couple of home runs versus Detroit. And Boyd stays away again, 3-2.
Narvaez could handle that bat. I mean, his on-base percentage is .374, which is pretty good. I mean, he chokes up ever so slightly on the bat, which allows him to control the barrel a little bit better. They fouled off a lot of pitches already today. And for Matthew Boyd, he's thrown a total of 42.
24 in the first inning.
12 total have been fouled off of the 42.
Swing and a miss, and Boyd finally able to dust him. He strikes out his second of the inning. A 1-2-3 frame.
It's back on the mound for the Tigers for the first time since July 14th. He's been dealing with some injuries that have sort of taken him out of the Tigers starting rotation, and he'll be limited to 70 pitches against the White Sox. They'll start Ronaldo Lopez tomorrow, but the Tigers need Michael Fulmer to finish with a flourish as they look forward to 2019 and beyond. Mario, Rod?
Yeah, we're looking forward to that too, Rod. It's going to be good to see Michael Fulmer back in the rotation, even though if it's only 70 pitches. Love to see him finish strong.
Yeah, you always want to finish the season knowing that you're 100% healthy, and that will be the case for Michael Fulmer.
Ducey rolls one to second base, and he is out 4-3, one gone.
They say that Michael, in his couple of outings that he had down in the minor leagues, albeit A ball, was throwing that ball. I mean, his fastball was registering 96, 97, 98. And after throwing a bullpen session a couple of days ago, pronounced himself healthy for Friday.
I saw some video of that start in Lakeland and some of those A-ball hitters, man.
Yeah, he wasn't gonna let them. He wasn't gonna let them kids get a reputation off of him.
No, they were overmatched. Here's Mikey. Lines one to right, a base hit.
Look out, Mikey.
Hit him where they ain't. It is a single with one out. First Tigers hit of the game. By the way, if the Tigers combine for 3 or more home runs in this game, bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow and get a free small order of curly fries. Here's Ronnie Rodriguez.
Ronnie Rodriguez, last 7 games hitting over 300. He's been swinging the bat a whole lot better. Hands are not as high as they were when he first came to the big leagues. which allows Ronnie to get himself in a better position to hit.
Oh, 1-1 on Ronnie, a 7-game hitting streak now, batting .200 on the year.
And whenever Shields gets ahead these days, he comes back with those slow breaking balls, and those breaking balls go anywhere from 65 to 70 miles an hour. He can really spin the baseball when he wants to.
Let's bring in Trevor Thompson.
Mario, James Shields is on the mound, and he's been known to give up the long ball over the last few years. Since 2006, this cat's given up 350 home runs. That's 51 more than the next closest guy on the mound. And also, his team is 1-12 when the opposition gets 5 runs or more. So obviously, this guy is prone to give up some long balls, and his team has to score a whole lot of runs for them to win ball games when he's on the mound. We'll see what happens today.
Roll to short, quick flip to second, not in time on the relay, and they'll get a force hit second with 2 outs. Well, as Rod would say, that's a lot of taters. Yeah,
it is, man. It also speaks to the longevity of James Shields, who's been in the big leagues for a long time. He's pitching so well right now. There were whispers out there that he may be pitching for a contender before this season is over. Look at that, 398 starts since the beginning of the 2006 season. Lots of strikeouts.
Today is the 23rd, so they would have a team would have 7 days to trade for him and to make him eligible for the postseason. The second deadline is approaching. Here's Grayson Griner. Grayson, after the first pitch, drives to center field. Engel is on the run. A lot of room out there, and he'll chase it down. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. Let's go to the third. Another leadoff home run for Ronald Acuna Jr., his 6th last night.
He's a bad boy, man.
They got a couple of bad boys in that lineup.
I mean, he's already got 20 homers, man. He started the season in the minors. Baseball, as far as the young kids are concerned, is in great shape these days.
By the way, is it hat day at the ballpark today?
Well, they're trying to keep that sun off their necks, that's for sure.
Yolmer Sanchez will lead things off now for the White Sox. Sanchez to be followed by Engel and then Tim Anderson. Matt Boyd had a 1-2-3 second, including 2 strikeouts. There are a couple of guys in this lineup for the White Sox that seem to do their best work versus Detroit, and this is one of them. Sanchez this year 9 triples overall, tied for the league lead. He waves and misses. Boyd now with the 1-2. Now the 2-2 coming home. Soft line drive to left center. It's going to drop. That'll be a base hit for Sanchez. We check in again with Trevor.
Mario Adam Engel is stepping to the plate right now, and on Players Weekend, the nickname on the back of his jersey, Man of Steel. He said that the Superman movie was out when he was in college. He loved to pump iron, and his teammate gave him that nickname, and it's kind of stuck, so he's rocking it this weekend. But prior to the game, he told me his favorite nickname during last year's Players Weekend was when he strolled up to the plate and he saw McCannon on James McCann's back. He thought that was the coolest nickname, and he even told James, hey, I dig what you're wearing this weekend. These guys have a lot of fun with this.
They do, and that's why they're having Players Weekend.
Yeah, this much we do know about Engel. This guy's got some world-class speed, and he was an outstanding high school football player too. Check out these catches he's made this year. He made all these catches in a span of 1 week. I mean, this guy's got some hops. I mean, look at the athleticism, the timing to make that play, and he made these plays as well. I mean, all in 1 week. Some guys have to wait a year to make 3 spectacular plays, but not Mr. Engel.
And all 3 of those, his head was at least at the level or above the top of the wall level. Hops indeed.
Uh-oh.
Got him picked off. Sanchez in a rundown. Tigers trying to execute the rundown, and they will. Yolmer picked off.
Looked like Matthew Boyd used his slide step move throwing the ball over the first base. That's when he doesn't pick the foot up very high. A lot of times when you see the foot not coming up very high, like right there, you think that they're going home because it's a slide step, and he fooled Yolmer, and Yolmer took off prematurely, and they were able to execute the rundown.
If you're scoring with us, 1-3-6-1.
Starting to see more and more left-handers with that kind of move right there, and that Boyd was able to pick Yolmer off with. Again, here's one more look. Look at the foot here. It doesn't come up very high. When you see the foot come up right here, you're thinking home. And it's just a beautiful move by Matthew.
Driven to right field, going to the corner. Castellanos or make it Reyes on the move. That'll bounce around the corner. Fair ball, and to second base goes Engel.
Engel's been swinging the bat pretty well lately. He homered in yesterday's game, and he's swung the bat well against us in the series when they were here last week.
2-bagger, the 3rd hit of the game now for Chicago.
I thought that was going to be a triple down in the right field corner for Engel, but Reyes has got some pretty good speed, and he got over there and was able to catch that ball on 1 or 2 bounces and get it in quickly to make sure that Engel didn't entertain the thought of going to third.
Chicago got a runner to second in the 1st inning with 1 out, failed to score him. Same story here now as Tim Anderson steps in. Lineup is turned over. Ball 1.
The one thing the White Sox will do a lot of, they will run a lot. They have stolen 85 bases this year as a team. They've only been caught 33 times. So they've had their issues in other areas, but they're a very aggressive base running squad.
One hopper to the shortstop. Great play. Iglesias spinning and throwing him out.
That bullet about knocked Iglesias over.
I think he played that ball off to his left, did a little bit of a turn, and then gunned him down 2 away.
The ball was hit so hard, you can't come in, you can't go back, so you just simply hold your ground and you just try to make an acrobatic play, which Iglesias is able to do. .986 career fielding percentage at shortstop. That's the best in Major League history. Minimum 500 games. Yes, fans, that's your shortstop.
Candelita is his player's weekend nickname. 2 outs now for Ryan Lamar.
And Candelita means, I believe, a little ball of fire or something like that. Jose told me. Flame.
Lamar in the first inning singled, stole a base, did not score. It'll dart low. 1 ball and 1 strike on Lamar. Was called back up again yesterday from AAA.
Must have called him up just to play against us again.
Exactly. Hit his first big league home run against us. Little low and away, and the count now goes 2 balls and 1 strike.
Here's that homer that Lamar hit against us last week. He hit it against Blaine Hardy, and he had a lot of family and friends in attendance. And Lamar was able to get that home run ball back too.
High fly ball to center field, playable. Mike Gerber is under it, and that'll end the threat and the inning. No runs, couple of hits, 1 left. If you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app, take Fox Sports Detroit and Tigers baseball with you wherever you go. Made available by Oakland University. So here come the Tigers now. It'll be Mike Gerber to get things started for the Tigers in the third. James Shields has given up just a single so far in this game. And Gerber showing bunt, trying to bust out of an 0 for 26.
And Mike Gerber will wear Gerbs on his back this weekend. And Gerbs.
Gerbs. Gerbs looks at a strike, 1-1.
And they've got a shift on him. You can see they've got 3 infielders on the right side of the infield: Anderson, Moncada, and Davidson. And Yomer Sanchez, the lone member, on the left side. Ooh, good change up there thrown by Shields. He's always had a great changeup, and the changeup used to be a more devastating pitch for James. And when he had that 95-mile-per-hour fastball, you see that circle change had some nice fading action on it away from Gerber. Came right back with it.
Shields finished third in the Cy Young voting in 2011 behind Verlander and Jared Weaver that year. It was the only season that James was an all-star.
Really?
which is to me hard to believe. I had to double check.
I mean, all those innings, all those years of 200 innings and all those years of 200 strikeouts, and he's only been on the All-Star team once.
The only time. That was the year that Verlander also won the MVP. Two and two on Gerber. Got him, strike three, caught him looking, and one gone here in the third.
Yeah, it's a cut fastball off the outside corner. Gerber gave up on that pitch, and you can see the natural cutting action on it. It gets it close to the corner, and then Narvaez does his work. He grabs it and he pulls it into the strike zone to get the call from Phil Cuzzy.
It's a bad break there for Gerber. That was a ball.
No doubt.
Here is Victor Reyes.
Victor Reyes all of a sudden has put together some nice solid plate appearances. 8 RBI in the season, batting just .229. But lately, and playing like he belongs in the big leagues.
Well, the one thing about Reyes, though, of his 36 hits, 32 of them have been singles. So how do you see his power develop?
Well, I think he's going to hit for some power. If you ever watch him take batting practice, I mean, he stands 6 feet 5 inches. And he hits balls a long way.
Third base side, and Sanchez in foul ground.
I think Victor's going to be a 15 to 20 homer guy at some point in time. Be a 20-20 guy for sure.
I would agree with that.
You watch a lot of guys in the big leagues when they first start their careers. They start out as doubles hitters. They hit lots of doubles. Then they learn how to really hit and start to drive the ball out of the ballpark. Machado comes to mind. The second baseman also in Houston comes to mind as well.
Two gone now for Candelario. Jamer fly to center field in his only at bat. 12 meetings this season between these two squads. Tigers have won 9 of them. They have controlled the season series. In fact, they are perfect over in Chicago. They've won all 6 against the White Sox there. Here's the 1-1.
And Jamer's got himself in a really nice friendly fastball count. And that's if Shields decides to throw him a fastball. He's had some pretty good control, James Shields, today. 24 strikes out of his 30 pitches.
3-1 now on Candy.
Trying to get inside with that cut fastball on Jamer.
In there, a strike called, 3-2. Shields in 3 starts in August, 2-1 with a 3.15. That's what Rod was talking about earlier, pitching his best baseball of the season right now and opening up some eyes. The 3-2 is outside, ball forward. It'll be a walk for Candelario. Talking about how the Tigers have dominated the Sox. They have swept a couple of series in Chicago.
256 is the batting average for the Tigers. A little bit lower, but they're still winning some games. And I don't see how, though.
Yeah, well, the bullpen's been good, but you're right. The ERA is high.
ERA is better. And yeah. How are they doing it?
Well, I mean, they're scoring maybe a little bit more, but that's, you look at that and you go,
yeah.
That doesn't match up, does it?
It doesn't. I was looking for some dominant numbers.
Iglesias shooting 1 foul, 0-1.
Trevor talked about the fact that James Shields gives up lots of home runs, and the reason for that is he throws that cut fastball, and that cut fastball pretty much stays on the same plane east to west in the strike zone. There's really no dip in the pitch. There's no a drop in the pitch. And a lot of times these guys with that new launch angle swings, they kill cut fastballs. That's why curveballs are such a valuable pitch these days for those guys in all the launch swings.
The curveball of Shields has ranged from 63 miles an hour up to 82 miles an hour.
You've got to be careful with James Shields on the mound. Since he's come to the big leagues in 2006, he might have the best pickoff move of any right-hander in the game.
Popped up in on his hands that time. It's going to be Narvaez, and that is that for the Tigers. No runs. They strand a walk. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire. World Series team on September 8th. Tigers hosting the Cardinals at 6:10. Arrive early for a special pregame on-field ceremony presented by Comerica Bank. If you'd like ticket information, go to tigers.com. 68, a special year here in the Motor City, and we'll celebrate that. In fact, the Tigers have been doing that all season long on the 50th anniversary. Avisail Garcia leads it off. 3, 4, and 5 coming up. Garcia, Davison, and Rondon. Boyd has scattered 3 hits so far. The White Sox have gotten a couple of guys to second base but failed to score them. Garcia got something in his eye. Phil Cuzzy asking him if he's okay. Went around, it appeared, yes. So says Adam Hammery. Now the 1-2. Garcia went for the very basic nickname, Avi. Short for Avisail.
I guess that's pretty much what everyone calls him.
Yeah, might as well go with it.
Yeah. Simple, easy.
Swing and a miss. And Boyd ties him up, strikes him out. Third of the game for Matthew.
Let's take a look at our Bell Tire pitch by pitch. I mean, the one thing that Boyd has done so far today, heavy dose of fastballs to this heavy dose of right-handed batters, and a lot of the fastballs on the inner third of home plate. And I like the fact that he's even going off the plate inside to really give of these right-handers something to think about. And then Boyd, once he starts to establish that fastball inside, he's going to get some real nice swings and misses on the breaking ball, as he did just now on Garcia for the strikeout.
Boyd has thrown his fastball today for strikes about 75% of the time early on here.
The only thing that's kind of troublesome to me right now is the fact that he's already thrown 63 pitches.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. He threw 24 in that first inning. Davison fly to center field, his only time up. Playing to pull on the infield. It'll go to 3-0 now on Davison. 18 homers this year for Davison, .230 batting average. Hammer to left field down the line, and that ball is up against the wall. Davison on his way to second, pulling in with a one-out double.
I don't know what it is about us, but whenever we show up, Davison, he shows out. He hits the ball extremely hard. Mario was talking about the power that he has, and he has really clobbered Tigers pitching the last 2 seasons. That's a fastball at 90 miles an hour. That's down and in, and a real nice, pretty swing there put on it by Davison. It's a bullet.
A bullet is correct. 113.5 miles an hour.
Goodness.
It's a major shot right there. 7-game streak now for Davison. So that makes it 3 out of 4 innings in this game already now. The Sox have gotten a man at second with 1 out. Now Rondon stands in.
Ooh, that almost got Nick Capra down there.
Sure did.
Third base coach Cappy on his back. Cappy was a good baseball player too, man. He was scrappy. Played a lot of minor league baseball. Played in the big leagues too, but a lot of minor league baseball.
Oh, 2 on Rondon.
Tigers have played 128 games this year, and 59 of those games have been played during the sunshine. 59 games out of 128 have been played during the day. It's a huge number, more than any team in baseball.
Well, if you want to put numbers to it, 46% of their games have been played during the day. And the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Rondon is out of there. 2 gone.
You know, all those bull fastballs that Boyd was filling the strike zone up with in the first 3 frames has allowed him to get back to this breaking ball now, where some of these guys are still looking for that heater, and now he's starting to pull the string on him, and that was at 81. Nice little slide piece. Down and in at that back foot of Rondon's.
Have we played more day games than the Cubs?
No, they're the only team that has played more than us.
So we're the most in the American League.
Correct.
Here's Moncada. He struck out in the second.
Speaking of those Cubs, Mario, I was watching the games on TV, and they looked like they took over Comerica Park. What was up with that?
I don't know. You know, when I did games in Anaheim, you know, when you're on the West Coast, a lot of times you'll see fans of the Midwestern teams come out there and they'll take over your ballpark. But I've never really seen it here at Comerica.
Ever.
I mean, it was loud and blue last couple of days. Tigers did well, though, to split that series against the best record in the National League. The 0-1.
And slider notes here on Matthew Boyd. Yeah, 31% of the time he's using that pitch, and he's throwing it 69% at the time for a strike.
Redirected towards second, and the out at first base retires the side. Well, coming up this Sunday, we retire Alan Trammell's number 3. That wouldn't be happening without his partner number 1. We're talking Tram and Sweet Lou next.
Lou is going to be from doing this for so many times. I would catch the ball and already be throwing the ball before my eyes would look up. If I played with somebody else, or if I did, I would catch the ball, I would kind of look and then throw the ball. It doesn't look like much or sound like much, but the difference of a double play oftentimes is a split second.
Alan Trammell talking about the chemistry between he and Sweet Lou Whitaker, who will be here on Sunday to be with his good friend. He'll give a little speech and certainly support Alan Trammell as his number 3 is forever emblazed on the wall in left center, along with the other Tiger Hall of Famers and guys. We certainly would love to see Sweet Lou be the next to go into the Hall and have his number on that very same wall. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's probably going to be the case. At least I hope so. And that number 3 will be up there on Sunday. I'll tell you what, it's fun to argue who the best was in baseball, and I think the best is, you know, obviously guys you grew up with and guys you watched your entire life. And for me, and I know for you as well, Rod, you played with these guys. I mean, Lou and Tram, there can't be a better double play combination.
No, not in the history of the game. The way that both of those guys played the game, and as many games as they played with one another, as many years, and not only that, both guys put up Hall of Fame numbers too.
Castellanos spins away from a bender inside, 2-2.
And good thing for Alan Trammell, he didn't have to play that many games with another second baseman, so they were able to turn a bunch of double plays.
751 double plays turned together.
Lou started his professional career as a third baseman. He was playing A-ball in Lakeland for Jim Leland, and they switched him to second base in instructional league, and that's where he and Trammell first met.
If memory serves me, Lance Parrish began his career as a third baseman as well. Down in the bushes. 3-2 on Castellanos. The infield playing to pull. And Nick rips one to left, base hit. Tigers get the leadoff man on. First time today. Menards brings you the big money encounter. Castellanos coming into today in 12 games against the White Sox, a very, very healthy 392.
How about the OPS? I mean, that would be the on-base percentage and the slugging percentage combined over 1,150. That's doing some damage.
Now Jim Adducci. shallow left field. It's going to drop. He dunks one in there. Castellanos going to third. He's going to get in there. The ball is overrun by Lamar. And all the way to second goes a Ducey, and the Tigers are in business.
That is great base running by Nicholas Castellanos. He saw that that ball was a bloop single in left field. Lamar was playing very deep, and he ran right in the face of Lamar. And by running right in the face of Lamar, Lamar tried to pick the ball up with a bare hand because he was trying to rush, and he was also looking at Nicholas Castellanos as he got to the ball. Therefore, Nicholas able to get himself over to third base with nobody out. Good base running by Nicholas. Also heads up base running by the Deuce.
Single E7. 2 on, nobody out here is Matuk. Ball 1 to Mikey. Tigers have 3 hits now. First time today the Tigers have a man in scoring position.
Uh-oh.
Oh, they got Nick picked off third base. How about that by Shields?
Just told you a half an inning ago that James Shields, since coming to the major leagues in 2006, that may have picked off more batters from a right-handed pitcher standpoint than anybody. I mean, he throws that foot up real slow, and Nicholas Castellanos casually takes his lead. And there's Yomer Sanchez to apply the tag.
I think Ron Gardenhire is arguing that was a balk. He's letting Phil Cuzzy know it.
It's the 40th career pickoff for James Shields. 40 of them. And let's see where he steps.
So Shields helps himself out, picking off Castellanos. Runner at second now with 1 out. It'll dive low and away to Matuk.
That was a big out right there.
Huge. Base hit back in the second for Matuk. Mikey trying to get something going here. Showed some signs in Minneapolis with a couple of home runs. He's gone to 3-0 now. Ducey at second with 1 out. Taking on 3-0, 3-1. Chicago came into this game having won 6 of their last 8 games, so they are on the upswing.
They've been swinging the bats very well lately. A couple of guys are hot.
3-2. Tigers had a single in the second. They had a walk in the third, and now 2 base hits here in the fourth. Shields taking too long, so Mikey steps out. Shields has not beaten the Tigers this year. He's 0-2 in a couple of starts. Fouled away. While Shields' numbers have not been all that good this year, he still will give you some innings. He's gone 6 or more in 9 of his last 10 starts, and he was a guy early in his career would give you 200 innings every year. Oh, inside it hit him, and Matuk will take his base. It would have been ball 4 anyway.
That's one of the hardest pitches that James has thrown all afternoon long. It was a 90-mile-per-hour four-seam fastball. Most of his fastballs today have been the cutter variety. One of these Tigers is going to catch up to that cutter today and hit it out of the ballpark, because he's thrown a lot of them.
Here is Ronnie Rodriguez reaching on a fielder's choice in his only at bat. Ronnie now a 7-game hitting streak. Ball 1. Narvaez down to smother it. Shields now at 51 pitches. Ronnie waves and misses. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's a slow breaking ball at 78 miles an hour, and Ronnie was way out in front of it.
Nico Goodrum has been struggling recently, so Ronnie gets the start at second base today. Goodrum the day off. High fly ball deep in the air toward left center field. That ball is hit well. It's going back, and that ball is gone. The first career home run. No, it's a double. A double for Rodriguez to give the Tigers the lead as Ducey comes around to score.
And James Shields came right back with that same slow breaking ball that he had just thrown Ronnie Rodriguez on the previous pitch, and Ronnie timed this one perfectly. He had some backspin. It got to the warning track and bounced into the Chicago White Sox bullpen. It's a nice job there by Rodriguez.
Really wanted to give Ronnie his first major league homer.
Yeah, you did. El Felino is the name on his back today.
So Rodriguez comes up with his 9th RBI. Tigers lead 1-0.
And Ronnie now has an 8-game hitting streak.
Now the infield coming in a couple of positions on the right side of the infield.
If you're Griner in this particular situation with 1 out and a runner on third base, you're looking for something up in the strike zone that you can hit a fly ball deep enough to the outfield to score the runner. As a matter of fact, that fly ball that Griner hit his first time up would work perfectly right now.
Griner's fly ball to center sent Engel way back in his last at bat. He'll drive one in the air again to center field. Engel is on the move, still going. He'll run this one down at the warning track. Both runners will tag. And scoring on the play is Matuk with a second run. Ronnie goes to third.
It's a real nice job there by Grayson Griner, who does not get a lot of opportunities to play. He forced himself into a real nice counter where Shields got the ball up. It's a breaking ball, and he hit it to center field deep enough to score the run. Picture perfect job there by Grayson.
I also love the way Ronnie came into third base as well. Even though that ball was in the glove of Engel, he was not taking anything for granted.
There's a couple more ways that you could score from third base that you can't score from second base with 2 outs. Especially with all these shifts, man. You get the ball like to the shortstop, and Anderson can make a play but yet be out of position there where he can't get the out at first base, and you can score.
Mike Gerber now with 2 outs.
Easier said than done, but here's where Mike just needs to, because he's been struggling. I mean, he almost has to treat it, Mario, like he's playing a game of pepper. And he's trying to hit the ball right to the shortstop. So you get a fastball and you just try to hit the ball on the ground in that direction. It's a huge hole over there for him. It would help him stay on the baseball a little bit more as well.
So the next offering now from Shields will be his 60th of the game.
And when runners are in scoring position, he slows down the pace and he doesn't throw as many strikes as he was throwing earlier, trying to get these young Tigers hitters to chase.
Gerber fanned in the third. Up in the count now, 3-1. The big pickoff by Shields looked like it might help him get out of the inning, but Ronnie Rodriguez doubles in a run.
That front shoulder of Gerber's, man, is coming off the ball way too quickly. You could really see it on that last replay. That same swing right there.
Tigers get a pair of runs here in the fourth inning. Ronnie Rodriguez gets it done with a ground rule double, and the Tigers take a 2-0 lead. $9.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game, plus get a free subscription to MLB at Bat Premium. To take advantage of this offer, go to MLB.tv. Well, Matt Boyd now with a lead to work with. It is 2-0 as Narvaez leads it off in the Chicago fifth.
And Ronnie Rodriguez sporting them sweet shades again today, partner. Them show shades.
Ronnie's got some style points going.
Yeah, he does.
He has all season long. 2-0 on Narvaez.
Check him out. I look good.
How's that saying go? If you look good, you feel good.
Yeah.
Feel good, you play good.
Yeah, you play good.
You get paid good.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
2-1 on Narvaez.
Nice little breaking ball there. Started it right at Narvaez, and Narvaez gave up on it and it caught the inside corner. That's one of the things that Matthew Boyd is doing very well now, using that breaking ball on both sides of the plate to the left-handers and the righties. Oh.
It'll be another strikeout for Boyd, his fifth. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Bell Tire. For tires and auto service, everybody needs a Bell Tire guy. And by Chevrolet, the most awarded and fastest growing brand the last 4 years overall.
How about that?
Yolmer Sanchez looks at a strike.
Got a fan on the phone. I guess any way to stay cool.
Temps today in the 70s, climbing though. It's up to 79 degrees with that sun beating on you at the ballpark. It'll get a little warm. Sanchez singled and was picked off in the third. Boyd working at that nice pace. The 2-1 pitch. Chicago's had plenty of scoring chances. They've gotten a couple of runners, actually 3 into scoring position with less than 2 outs. Failed to score them though. And there's ball 4. It'll be a 1-out walk to Sanchez.
One of the things that Boyd has done a nice job of today, and that's with his first pitch strikes, 13 of 17. A mound visit by his catcher, Grayson Griner. Grayson, this is his 25th start in the big leagues, and he's caught Matthew Boyd 7 times. He told me in the clubhouse this morning that they work very well together. They just seem to see in the good sync, and I think Ron Gardenhire quietly has put Griner in a situation to where he catches Boyd every 5th day. He would probably never say that, but it's starting to work out that way.
Here's Adam Engel now with 1 on, 1 out. Popped up in on his hands. It'll be the shortstop Iglesias. 2 gone. That'll bring up Tim Anderson now for the White Sox. Anderson is 0 for 2. Pop up and a ground out.
And be careful with Anderson with fastballs. He's got some really quick hands. He's not big in stature, but he's got some pop in his bat. He's got 17 big flies.
It was Anderson that broke up the no-hit bid of Matt Boyd here last September with a double in the 9th inning with 2 outs.
It's the first time Boyd has seen them since then.
Hard to believe.
I know, as many times as we play them. And that's a nice little backdoor breaking ball there, like we talked about. Boyd starts that ball off the plate, and the hitter gives up on it because you see it being outside. And just look at the little break on it, just on the outside corner.
One up top, 1 and 2. Anderson came in with a .333 career average against Boyd, although Matthew has got him a couple of times in this game. Curled one down low, 2 and 2.
And Matthew Boyd can go a couple of ways here. He's already thrown him 2 breaking balls. He's already thrown him 2 fastballs. He got him to chase the fastball upstairs. If he does go up top, he's got to make sure that he gets up in the area where Anderson can't get to it. They're going breaking ball on the inside third of the plate.
Chopped left side, base hit, found a hole. 2-out single for Tim Anderson. Tying runs on now. It'll bring up Brian Lamar.
It's not a bad pitch by Matthew. It's down. It's at 79. But Anderson, who has good numbers against Boyd, just finds a hole on the left side of the infield.
It'll be the 5th hit of the game now for Chicago. Lamar single, stealing a fly ball. Lamar has been up and down 3 times this year. AAA to the big leagues and back. Did not go. Chicago so far in this game 0 for 6 with men in scoring position. They've had at least one runner in every inning but the second in this game. One and two. Win big with Menards at Fox Sports Detroit. Just visit any Menards location. Pick up your entry to win the Fox Sports Detroit Ultimate VIP Studio Experience Sweepstakes. Visit includes a studio tour, meet and greet with the talent, and more. So make sure to visit a Menards store today and enter. One and two on Lamar. Driven to center field. That's going to drop. Base hit. Rounding third and coming home. Sanchez throwing to third is in time. They got him there. The run does not score. The run does not score before the tag out at third. Phil Cuzzy waved it off. And now we'll see if the White Sox want to challenge this.
And Joe McEwing is the acting manager right now. He's the bench coach, but Rick Renteria, their manager, is not here. This is why you always have to hustle running through the bag. You never know. You've got to be hustling.
A strike called on Victor Reyes. 2 runs on 4 hits for the Tigers. No runs, 6 hits for the White Sox. It'll be Reyes, then Candelario, and Iglesias. Squibbed foul off the end of the bat. Reyes, a pop up in the third, is 0 for 1. At the ground to the second baseman, scooped up by Moncada, and Reyes is out.
Let's go back to that last out with Engel on second base. Looked like he should score on a routine base hit up the middle, but you have Anderson running from first base, and Anderson's got some pretty good speed. We'll get to it in a moment. We're having some issues, technical difficulties.
Here is Jeimer Candelario now with one gone.
We will show you that play, though, and when we get it together.
Oh, 2. Jeimer trying to extend his 5-game hitting streak. He walked in the 3rd. Fly ball back in the 1st inning. Shields' pitch count has been in pretty good shape most of the day. That'll sail way outside. 1-2. On the outside corner, Shields got him looking, and Jeimer says, I don't think so.
Well, Narvaez has really been working with that glove. A little cut breaking ball here, and take a look at the glove here. Narvaez just kind of sticks it, and he gets that call from Phil Cuzzy.
3rd strikeout of the day for Shields, and Jeimer had some words for Cuzzy as he walked back to the bench. Now Iglesias.
Iglesias doing his best work this season at Comerica Park. And 295 here at home with lots of extra base hits. And batting 266 overall.
You see that? I think Shields turned back to Moncada and told him to go to the other side of the bag at second. I don't think Shields liked the shift they were playing. And so Moncada shifted over.
Yeah, I believe that there are some starting pitchers, and James Shields might be one on their team that could, you know, tell them where they think they would like to play him.
More room up the middle now for Iglesias. Here's the 1-1. Pulled foul. Tigers got a pair of runs in the 4th, double by Rodriguez, sac fly by Griner. And down goes Iglesias. A 1-2-3 inning. 4 strikeouts now for Shields.
The inning for the White Sox. You see Gerber comes up firing the 3rd. Anderson is tagged out before Engel, who was on second base, touches home plate. Therefore, Phil Cuzzy, the home plate umpire, waves off that Engel didn't score. And if you took a look at Engel, he really started to slow down as he got toward home plate, and that's why he didn't make it home safely. I'm sure, that was Sanchez.
Well, that clearly cost them 1 run and maybe more, because who knows how the rest of that inning would have gone. Big play in this game. Tigers lead 2-0 as we go to the top of the 6th now for Matt Boyd, who has thrown 92 pitches. That is fouled back by Avisail Garcia.
And Tigers now have 29 outfield assists, and that's tied for the most in the big leagues. So they've got some guys in the outfield that can throw the baseball.
High fly ball down the left field line, going toward the corner, and Matuk runs it down right in front of 345. Garcia retired. So I don't know if this will be the last inning for Boyd, but he has not gone more than 106 pitches in any game this year. And there is activity now in the Tigers pen. Drew Verhagen. Here is Matt Davidson. Doubled at his last at bat. Seems like Boyd has had to pitch around traffic the entire game.
And he's done a pretty nice job of doing so once they've gotten some guys on base. Did they get Griner in the left shoulder? Sure did. Left shoulder, left cheek. And Matthews had that little backdoor breaking ball working very effectively for himself all afternoon, and he's thrown it quite frequently. And Matthew Boyd is approaching 100 pitches this afternoon, and he's thrown 55% fastballs today.
2-2 now on Davidson. Rondon waiting on deck. Wave and a miss. Davidson gone.
And Matthew Boyd set up this fastball beautifully with a lot of off-speed pitches to Davidson, and then he comes back with 95 right around the belt buckle, and Davidson swings right through it.
Here's our Xfinity high-speed pitch, 94 this afternoon for Boyd, a low of 71.
And Boyd has hit that 94 quite often today.
Matthew now with 6 strikeouts. His season high is 9. Did that against Seattle. That was way back in May.
I think Matthew Boyd kind of thinking this is going to be his last inning too, so he's letting it all hang out here in the 6th.
Rondon began his professional career with the Angels, then was sent to the Padres. The White Sox got him for cash, so he's been around several different organizations. Popped up first base side for Adduci. And Matthew Boyd with a 1-2-3 6th inning. Tigers continue to lead 2-0. 10,000 fans receive a 68 50th anniversary Mickey Lolish bobblehead. If you'd like tickets or more information, go to Tigers.com.
50 years ago.
Get that Mickey Lolish bobblehead to add to your collection.
That'll be nice.
Here is Castellanos. He will look at a ball outside to start the bottom of the 6th.
How about James Shields, man? This guy has basically reinvented himself from the guy that we first watched back in Tampa years ago. He had a fastball that would get up to 97 miles an hour. Wasn't throwing a cutter back then, but he had that really good changeup and a really good breaking ball. Could really compete, and now he's competing with less stuff. So just kind of gives you an idea of the talent that James Shields has, really.
Very durable guy. Till last year he had some injury problems. High towering fly ball to left field. That ball is hit deep way back and it is gone. Nicholas Castellanos has just hit his 19th of the year.
Just a matter of time before one of these Tigers caught up to this cut fastball that James Shields continues to feature. 89 smoked by Nicholas Castellanos.
Shields now has allowed 24 home runs, the 4th most in the American League. It's his 71st RBI as well. Pulled right to the second baseman Moncada, who is on the outfield grass.
Yeah, that homer by Nicholas traveled 405 feet. And what a StatCast telling us about the home run. Oh, how about that launch angle? Yeah, 32 degrees. And when you get that exit velocity of right around 100 with that degree of launch, usually the result is a homer and a big smile for Nicholas.
It's another multi-hit game for Castellanos. That has been his specialty this year.
He's your pick to stick today as well.
He is.
How about our pick to stick today? Ram pick to stick today.
That was messed up.
I threw it off.
That was just flat out messed up. You selected.
You could blame me for it, though. I threw the thing off the rails.
You got it started by picking a guy that wasn't even in the lineup, Victor Martinez. And then 2 picks later, Keating selects Victor Martinez. We had just made fun of you that he wasn't in the lineup.
So it's worse for John than I think than me.
Well, it is, because then he wanted to pick Nico Goodrum, who is also not in the lineup. And it just got worse from there.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that was all messed up.
Yeah, it was. It was funny, though.
It'll go down as the funniest.
I'll take the blame, though. What is Nico today? A waiter today? Got some water and a napkin like he's serving drinks. Nice little chill day for Nico. Catch his breath. It's always nice, man, when you're struggling as a player, man, just to get a day off, man, and really not do anything. You don't have to take batting practice or nothing.
That ball hit deep to left field on the bat of Matuk, going to the track, to the wall, and we've got a second home run of the inning for the Tigers, and for Mikey, his 3rd in a week. That thing was hit high. And another no-doubter. Put a big smile on Mikey's face.
Absolutely. The waiter.
Good job, Nico says.
And now Nico gonna take him to water in the towel. This team's still having fun, man, even though the wins, you know, haven't come at the clip that they pretty much wanted them to come at. I mean, you kind of knew where you were at the beginning of this season, but these guys are still having quite a bit of fun.
Ronnie launches one to left field. That one is going to the track. It's going to the wall, and it's gone. Ronnie Rodriguez, his first big league homer, and Nico's waiting for you.
Now you can give him that first home run, Mario.
How about James Shields? He's serving him up.
3 in this inning. First in the big leagues for Ronnie. Check out Nico.
Where is he at?
He's waiting. Well done, sir.
A lot of smiles down there. Guys having a lot of fun. But I was just getting ready to talk about those shirts that Ron Gardenhire had made up. What was it, yesterday, a couple of days ago, Matthew Boyd?
A couple days ago. That ball is launched to left, but it's going to be pulled, and it'll go foul. Well, the Tigers are teeing off on Shields. They are trying to get that ball, I would assume, for Ronnie Rodriguez. First major league homer.
You know, this is not old school baseball, because if you give up 3 home runs to 3 right-handed batters, you're going to pitch somebody inside.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, somebody's going to have to move their feet.
Griner flies to center field. Nico apparently thinks there's another homer to come. Rodriguez all smiles.
Yeah, the White Sox have been the team that have been hitting a lot of home runs lately, and not the Tigers. That's curly fries, man.
It is. Curly fries in 1 inning. The White Sox had homered in 14 straight coming in.
I saw that.
But it's the Tigers playing long ball today. Gerber skies one on the infield, and it's going to be Anderson to retire the side. Lots of smiles in a big inning for the Tigers. Nick got it started with a solo shot. 1 batter later, Matuk, and then Ronnie joins the party. 5-0 Tigers.
Matthew Boyd had a real nice day, but he's been pitching some outstanding baseball in his last 7. He was nearly first pitch strike on every single White Sox hitter today. And a lot of his pitches were fastballs. He threw nearly 100 pitches today in 6 frames. And then once they started looking for that fastball, he threw breaking balls. He also helped himself out with a pickoff. And Yomer Sanchez, not hustling on a base hit, didn't score before Anderson was tagged out at third base. Overall, really nice work again today for Matthew Boyd.
Ball 1 to Yohan Moncada. We're in the 7th inning. Tigers now have a 5-0 lead. Boyd finishing up with 103 pitches, 3 shy of his season high, and now gives way to Drew Verhagen in the Wallside Windows pitching change.
And Verhagen pitching in his 28th contest this season. He has 41 strikeouts in 42 innings, so he's averaging a strikeout an inning. And a real nice line from Matthew Boyd, just 1 walk today. You brought that up earlier. You said he hasn't been walking many people at all. What is that, 6 walks now in his last 6 outings or something like that?
6 in his last 7 starts.
Wow.
Moncada reaches to lead things off here in the 7th. It's amazing how much success you can have if you do not issue the base on balls.
And also start to establish your fastball. That's the biggest difference in Matthew Boyd than the last few weeks before he started throwing his fastball more consistently. One thing we know about Verhagen in these types of situations, he can get himself a ground ball and get a double play, help him get out of this inning. That's when he's at his best.
Narvaez has fanned twice. Verhagen facing the bottom of the White Sox lineup here in the 7th. Missed again, 2-1.
And Tigers are going to have to get somebody up in that bullpen if he walks. And Narvaez here. Can't wait around. If Drew, for whatever reason, doesn't have it this afternoon, Verhagen's been outstanding out of that bullpen for the better part of a month now.
Got a call there, 2-2. Swing and a miss by Narvaez. He's out of there.
It's the 3rd time Narvaez has punched out today.
Rough day.
And Verhagen comes real back with that really good 12-6 breaking ball. He can really spin it. Narvaez swings right over the top of it. First strikeout of the afternoon for Verhagen.
7 now for Tigers pitching today. You combine that with the 6 from Boyd. Here's Yolmer Sanchez. Singled, but was picked off in the 3rd by Boyd.
Yolmer's had a tough base running day then. Picked off, and then he wasn't hustling on that base hit up the middle, therefore he didn't score before Anderson was tagged out at 3rd base.
At that point, still a 2-0 game. That would have made it 2-1 had he scored and kept the inning going. Much different game. That is pulled foul down the right field line. 0-2 on Sanchez with Adam Engel waiting on deck. Tigers trying to make it 10 wins in 13 games this year versus Chicago. One and 2. The Chicago team definitely a different crew without Abreu in the middle of their lineup.
For sure. He's one of your better right-handed hitters in the game. He's a serious run producer. They say Abreu came in one day with some pain in his abdomen, and the next thing they know that he is undergoing some surgery and he's going to be out for about 3 weeks.
There's Abreu on that list. Of course, Danny Farquhar was the story earlier this year with a brain hemorrhage. Fouled away. Although don't tell the Tigers about injuries. The last couple of years they have certainly had their share. This year Miguel Cabrera went down early, their best hitter, out for most of the season. Fulmer has been on the DL.
And that's a shame, though, because Mickey came to spring training in the best shape of his life. And it looked like he was going to have a big year. Got off to a real nice start.
Swing and a miss. Sanchez strikes out. It's 8 of them now for Tigers pitching. 2 gone for Adam Engel, and that brings us to going back to college with Nissan as Engel comes strolling in. Where did he go to school, you ask? We're about to tell you. He is a Louisville Cardinal in his 94 career stolen bases at Louisville. 2nd in program history. I'm sure he was robbing home runs there too.
You know he's running some stuff down. Yeah, they say if he could just get to 250, 255 consistently, which means he's getting on base a little bit more frequently, he can play center field every day. But he's going to have to get to that number, or else he'll probably be a 4th or 5th outfielder. You got to be able to hit really ultimately to stay in the big leagues. Although the game is changing quite a bit with some of your analytical numbers.
Now the 0-2. Lifted toward left center field. And it'll drop, base hit. Gerber hustles it back in. Going to be a double for Engel. Moncada goes to third, 2nd and 3rd now with 2 outs.
Well, a little breaking ball flipped up there by Verhagen, and neither Gerber or Mata could get to it. That's a double for Engel.
And we'll get a meeting on the mound now for Verhagen. Well, we hope you can join us tomorrow night as the Tigers once again host the White Sox here at Comerica Park. All of your game coverage begins at 6 with Tigers Line. Tomorrow night, Tigers Sox at 6 right here on Fox Sports Detroit. You were talking about outfielders in the Chicago system. They got a kid by the name of Eloy Jimenez.
Yep.
The number 3 prospect playing at AAA Charlotte right now. And he's having a good year.
Number 3 prospect in all of baseball, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And we're going to see Kopech throw on Sunday. Michael Kopech, one of their best pitching prospects. There's a line drive caught by Iglesias to end the inning. No runs, a walk, a double, 2 men left. Coming up, the Consumers Energy 7th inning stretch.
strategy, know your own power. The Tigers with 3 home runs in the bottom half of the 6th inning. And Nicholas Castellanos first teed off on James Shields, followed by Mikey Montauk. And then how about Ronnie Rodriguez connecting for his first major league home run on a breaking ball from James Shields. El Felino is what he's wearing on his back today.
Victor Reyes will lead off the 7th inning for the Tigers. And James Shields still out there. Shields right now at 92 pitches. Reyes looks at a ball outside.
And back-to-back changeups to Victor Reyes. Shields hasn't thrown many changeups today, but he has thrown quite a few to Victor.
Well, we got Ronnie Rodriguez his first major league home run. How about getting Victor Reyes his? He is 0 for 2, pop up and a ground out. Here's the 1-2. Infield pulling on Reyes. Got him. Strike 3. Victor didn't like it. 1 gone. We check in with Trevor.
Mario, Joe McEwing is the bench coach and interim manager for the White Sox because Rick Renteria is out. But coming back to Comerica Park brings back memories for him. During parts of 9 seasons in the big leagues, mostly in the National League, he hit his very last of his 25 home runs right here at Comerica Park. It came off of lefty Nate Robertson on July 15th, 2005. An 0-2 count, a low and away slider. He remembered the pitch. He remembered the pitcher. He remembered the bomb. When you hit 25, I guess they're easier to recount. But he talked about that moment, which was special to him just before the game here today. So nice visit back. Good memory for McEwing as he brings the Sox into town.
Super Joe, they used to call him in his playing days.
Yep, sure did.
So McEwing has a nice memory of this ballpark. St. Louis, Mets, KC, and Houston. His major league stops as a player. The 1-1. Ripped to right field. Base hit for Candelario. We'll get an update now on the Ram pick the stick.
You're looking good today, partner.
Well, the home runs certainly helped. There have been 3 of them in this game.
Ooh, Keats took Ronnie today. How about that?
Oh, we didn't realize that.
He lucked up on that today too, didn't he? My goodness.
I can hear you.
Oh,
This is not poetic justice here.
Hey, good afternoon, gentlemen.
he didn't even know who was playing. He lucked up on Ronnie.
You should have to give those 9 points back.
He should give them to Trevor.
Oh my goodness.
Spread them among us.
He picked Ronnie and Ronnie Homer.
You know, the lineup was a secret, apparently, to some of us. So.
Yeah, there was some funny stuff today, buddy. Oh my goodness.
To recap, Keating picked a guy that wasn't in the lineup.
2 of them.
After we did that, we told him you got to pick another guy. He picked another guy who wasn't in the lineup.
And he wrote the lineup. That's the funny thing,
You know, maybe-
at least for the show.
Maybe the second Bloody Mary wasn't a good idea.
Apparently not. And he falls right into the lap of Ronnie Rodriguez, who's got him 9 points, man. Good
My
job,
goodness.
Irish luck.
Keith. Yeah, I guess. I'd like to say I'm happy for you, but I'm not.
We'll do it again tomorrow.
Yes, we will.
More whining, more complaining tomorrow night.
Can't wait. Tigers have a 5-0 lead on Shields. They had 3 homers in the 6th. Castellanos, Matuk, and Ronnie Rodriguez. Headed back to the seats, out of play.
And James Shields up to 102 pitches thrown this afternoon. They've got some action in their bullpen.
Ryan Burr is warming up. So Shields now has gone at least 6 innings in 10 of his last 11 starts. Although today's gotten roughed up. Pulled to left field down the line. That is a fair ball. It'll go to the corner. Candelario to third. They'll stop him there. It's a double for Iglesias.
And Joe might just have to go get James Shields. It's a nice job here by Jose. He gets a hanging breaking ball at 77 miles an hour. He gets out in front of it and rips it down the left field line. And good hustle here by Iglesias coming out of the batter's box, especially because Candelario was hustling getting to third base. Well,
there's McEwing.
What's he going to do?
He's going to leave him in there to face Castellanos. Nick a single and a homer.
And Nick's day is about to get a little bit bigger. He has worn out White Sox pitching this year.
Infield in, 1 ball and no strikes. Time for the Bernstein advantage. Most 3-hit games. Castellanos trailing only Gene Segura, 15 of them for Nicholas. He might get 1 more here with a base hit. Popped him up. Right side, long run, tough play. Davidson. Oh, wow. What an over the shoulder grab. And that'll hold the runners.
I thought maybe Candelario was going to entertain the thought of trying to tag up and score because Davidson was facing the way that he was facing. But, man, he turned in a hurry and threw that ball home. Watch Davidson. I mean, he's alert here. He grabs that ball and quickly turns and throws that ball home, anticipating that Candelario would try to score.
Well, you're right, man. Davidson just whirled and fired that back in.
Yeah, Candy did tag up, took 10 hard steps, and thought better of it.
Now a Ducey. I feel like I'm at a tennis match when Shields pitches.
Oh, yeah?
With the grunting.
Yep, yep.
Single for 3 for a Ducey.
Monica Seles used to do that a lot.
Yes. 1 ball, 1 strike on Deuce.
And playing a Ducey to pull. And 3 infielders on the right side of the infield. Anderson, Moncada, and Davidson.
Two and one.
It's the first time we've seen Shields do this today. Drop down to the sidearm angle. And we talked about him reinventing himself. Look at this angle that he releases this ball from. It gets him some nice tailing action on it.
He is at 109 right now. 114 is his season high. Here's the 3-1. Pulled through into right field, a base hit. That'll get 2 more runs in. Ducey is on his way to second. He is in with a 2-run double.
That might just be the hardest ball that Ducey has hit since being in the big leagues. I mean, that was an absolute rocket through the infield to drive in 2 runs.
It's going to be it.
Little breaking ball, little cutter or something, man. He just killed it. This ball scooted all the way to the gate to hit the dirt.
Big day for Ducey. They will go to the bullpen. Pitching change here in Comerica Park. We'll be back. Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica. Your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. See why Chevy drives to Motor City. And by Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory. A gorgeous afternoon here in downtown Detroit. Tigers doing their part. They lead the White Sox 7-0 here today. Ryan Burr coming on to make his Major League debut for the Chicago White Sox. Tigers have scored 2 more here, lead 7-0. Ball 1.
That kind of explains it. I thought maybe Joe McEwing would have walked a Ducey there because he had the base open and go after the right-hander with Burr. But maybe he didn't want to put Burr in a bases loaded situation to make his Major League debut.
Yeah, probably not. And he will miss outside. 2-0.
And 37 games in the minors for Burr this year. 51 strikeouts. A high number of walks. 25 walks in the 55 innings. That's too many. Got a good arm though. 96 with that last fastball.
It's gone to 3-0 on Mikey Matuk, a solo homer in this ball game. That was in the 6th inning. Mikey on base 3 times today. In there, a strike call. So Burr was added to the roster, was called up when Luis Avilan was traded to the Phillies. He was just dealt to the Phils. Burr takes his spot. Fouled away now, 3-2.
Phillies are for real over in the National League East. The Washington Nationals have started to sell. How about that season for the Washington Nationals?
Don't believe it.
You know, it reminds me of our 2008 season. We were supposed to do really, the year we got Miguel Cabrera. We had a really star-studded team. We finished in last place that year.
Yeah.
I mean, we were supposed to be really good.
Here's the 3-2. Swing and a miss. He comes back to strike out Matuk. That'll end the inning. Tigers get 2 more runs. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire. 8th inning. Here is the upcoming pitching matchup presented by Wallside Windows. Reynaldo Lopez and Michael Fulmer for the Tigers tomorrow.
And a couple of hard throwers going at it tomorrow. And Michael's 1-3 and Lopez is 1-4, but both guys have upper 90s fastballs.
What are you expecting out of Fulmer tomorrow? We know that his rehab stints down in Lakeland were really good.
I expect Michael to come out tomorrow and fill the strike zone up with 95 and above fastballs, that good slider and a good changeup.
Tigers back to the bullpen and a Wallside Windows pitching change. Lewis Coleman.
And Coleman's working in his 39th game since coming up from the minor leagues. He's got a 3.46 ERA. Surprised teams haven't called on Coleman. Coleman's one of those guys that gives you a different look out of a bullpen. Yeah, I'm sure one of the contenders could use a different look. Surprised no one's called on him.
There is still time. Here is Ryan Lamar to lead things off. 8th inning. And Lamar takes strike one. Matt Boyd started this game when 6 scoreless and now has 15 consecutive scoreless innings against Chicago. Lamar has been on base a couple of times, both singles. So here on Players Weekend, they're putting nicknames on the back of their jerseys. The players have their choice, and Coleman has gone with Harold.
Right.
That is his actual first name. Lewis is his middle name.
You had to look that up, didn't you? Did you?
No,
you knew it?
No, I didn't know it. Somebody told me. The crew kind of got in my ear and said, here's the reason.
I was kind of wondering when I was looking at the list. I'm like, Harold? I mean, where'd that come from?
Yeah. Hal, we can call him Hal.
Well, Farmer was George, right?
Right. He is the 3rd Harold. His grandfather and dad have that name as well.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. 2-2, the count on Lamar. Ball 3 on Lamar. Garcia, then Davison to follow here in the 8th. Walked him. Didn't want to do that. Leadoff man on here in the 8th inning. 3rd time that Lamar has reached. Well, from now until midnight tomorrow night, take an extra $5 off select special themed event ticket packages in the month of September. Packages include Uber Night, Detroit Mercy Night, Irish Heritage Night, and more. If you'd like to purchase or for more information, go to tigers.com/flash. Here's Garcia.
And see if Coleman can get something on the ground here off the bat of Garcia with that good sinker ball that he possesses. It's a nice job there by Garcia laying off that 2-seamer at the bottom of the zone.
And now Coleman has gone 2-0 after walking the leadoff man. Not really, Rob, the same Avisail Garcia we've seen the last couple of years. I know he struggled with injuries this year, but boy, it's been a down year for him.
Yeah, he really hasn't been able to catch up. When he first came off the disabled list this year, he had a nice little hot streak for a couple of weeks, but then he landed on the DL again and just really hasn't been able to recover from that. Oh my goodness.
Oh. all Garcia can do is laugh.
I give up.
Ground ball, third base side. Candelario to second one. Relay. Double play.
Just what the doctor ordered. And Garcia not happy with the umpire. The umpire not paying any attention to him. I like that. The umpire didn't even look at him. Garcia's still barking at him. And the umpire never even looks at him. I like that by Adam Hammery. There are some umpires that will be chasing you back to the dugout. What'd you say?
Oh, no doubt.
A nice job by Candy. Nice feed to Ronnie. And Ronnie's able to turn it over. Hammery didn't even look at him.
You just let him go. Adam Hammery, born in Marquette, Michigan.
Marquette, Michigan.
Davidson, the batter. That'll miss inside.
However, Garcia better be careful because Adam Hammery's awfully close to him.
Not only that, Hammery's got the plate tomorrow. 1-1. Double and 3 at bats for Davidson. One of the 7 hits for Chicago in this game. 3 balls and 1 strike. Tigers got 2 in the 4th, 3 in the 6th, and 2 in the 7th. There's another walk, his 2nd in the inning. Bring up Rondon.
And Tigers have now walked 4 on the afternoon. Boyd walked 1. Verhagen also walked 1, and Coleman's walked 2 here in the 8th inning.
Way outside, 1-0.
And Gardy's starting to stew a little bit. He don't like them walks.
Two and 0. Coleman replaced Verhagen, who went the 7th. We mentioned that Matt Boyd started, went 6 scoreless with 6 strikeouts in the game today for Matthew. Now the 2-0. There's a strike right at the knees of Rondon. Big numbers at AAA, 18 homers this year. Called up yesterday from their AAA team. Drilled to left field and hit well. That ball's going to go. It is out of here. A home run for Jose Rondon. And the Sox now have homered in 15 straight games. It is a 2-out, 2-run shot. Well, he told you he had power down at AAA, and there you go.
Well, Coleman continues to fall behind every single hitter in this inning. He hadn't gotten ahead of nobody. And he fell behind Rondon as well, and he finally, the 88 and 2-seam fastball that was down and in, he just turned on it.
Moncada looks at a strike.
That's the home run chain they put on every time somebody hits a home run in their dugout. They give them a little chain to wear around for the. I guess so they have to go back out and play defense.
Yeah, I don't think they let you bring it out on the field.
Although some of these guys these days look like they got chains on like that.
You're not kidding, man.
How about Javi Baez the last couple of days? How do you run around, man, with that big old chain on your neck?
Doesn't seem to bother him.
And not at all.
That ball hit deep to left field. Mikey going back, though, right in front of the wall to retire the side. 2-run shot by Rondon puts them on the board.
It's time for the Miller Lite Hold True moment. And how about Ronnie Rodriguez? He had already doubled in the game against James Shields. Then he comes up for his third at-bat today and hits his first major league home run. Nice job, Ronnie Rodriguez.
1 of 3 in that inning for the Tigers, which means curly fries.
You already know that.
Well, Matt Boyd can go to Arby's tomorrow, enjoy the curly fries. He's also going to enjoy his win here today if the Tigers hold on. He was great today.
Well, he pitched very well, and as you pointed out, he's pitched very well against the White Sox. I mean, he nearly no-hit them last September. Then he comes out today, 6 scoreless frames. He only walked 1. He had 6 strikeouts. He had a lot of fastballs, a lot of first pitch strikes. Matthew Boyd is pitching as well down the stretch this year as he did down the stretch in September when he had a sub-3 ERA.
Yeah, he nearly no-hit the White Sox last year down the stretch. So now 15 straight scoreless innings versus Chicago for Matt Boyd. Here in the bottom of the 8th, it is Rodriguez, Griner, and Gerber. Little chopper to the shortstop. Ronnie is out of there as Anderson throws him out. Now Griner.
And meanwhile, Grayson Griner continues to handle Boyd very well. If you weren't with us, we told you that this is the 7th time that he's catching Matthew Boyd, and most of those have been recent. And they're working well together.
Ball 1.
Spurs got a good arm, man. Straight over the top. 94 to 97 mile per hour fastball.
Played his college ball at Arizona State.
Good school.
Is the all-time saves leader there with 38. Strike called on Griner. Ball hit to right field and deep. It's going into the warning track, and it's going to fall a little bit short right into the glove of Garcia. That'll bring Mike Gerber now. There's a strike called on Gerber. Arizona State has produced quite a few big leaguers. Of course, Barry Bonds, the most notable one. Reggie Jackson as well.
Oh, they had a lot of guys that went to ASU, man. Whew, a lot of guys. Bob Horner.
Rick Monday, Sal Bando.
Yeah.
Bunch of them.
Hubie Brooks. Gerber not staying on the baseball with his front shoulder. I mean, really pulling off the ball. You can see it right there. I mean, that front shoulder, man, is just coming off so quick, and the bat is coming through the strike zone at a rapid pace that it doesn't stay in long enough to drive the ball the other way. You can see the bat in the strike zone, out of the strike zone. Too much risk there. He needs to leave that, the barrel of the bat in the strike zone a little bit longer. He'll figure it out.
Gerber today, 2 strikeouts and a pop-up. 2 balls, 2 strikes to count.
And it's a natural thing to do when you're struggling like he is struggling. Take a look at the front shoulder, how it comes off prematurely. I mean, these balls are away from him, and it's just no opportunity for him to really put those balls in play because he doesn't have the plate coverage that he needs to have success. And once he starts to leave that front shoulder there and a little bit longer and create a little different bat path, I think Gerbs will be okay.
Two and two the count on Gerber. Two outs here in the Tigers' 8th. Swing and a miss. Gerber strikes out again to retire the side. Tigers go 1-2-3.
It should be a clubhouse filled with smiles, and I would guess Matthew Boyd might be wearing the biggest of them.
Well, he was absolutely dealing today. He really had pounded that fastball on the inner half, which made that breaking ball that much more effective. But how about the offense flexing their muscle? There was 3 home runs hit today. One guy in particular has found his home run stroke. I'll tell you who it is in the postgame show.
My Rod, this was a curly fries day, right?
Right. Sure was, with the 3 long balls in the 6th. Curly fries tomorrow. Tigers going back to the bullpen to try and close this one out here in the 9th inning. Wall side windows pitching change for the Tigers. It'll be Zach Reininger.
And Reininger's got a big arm. I mean, he's got a fastball that gets up to 96, 97 miles an hour. He is much better than the 8.18 earned run average that you're looking at. But when you don't have that many innings and you have 1 or 2 bad outings in the big leagues, those numbers can elevate.
Bottom 3 coming up. It'll be Narvaez, Sanchez, Engel, 7, 8, 9 here. Tigers looking for the final 3 outs. There's a strike call. And the Tigers trying to win their 10th in 13 tries this year against Chicago.
Been back-to-back pretty good years for Reininger, man. Last year in 42 minor league appearances, his whip was under 1, and they only hit 193 against him. And he was pitching some pretty good baseball down in in Toledo this year.
He's got a really good arm. We've seen him last year, and now getting a chance this year to pitch the major league level. A little bit different look. He had that long hair in the last time we saw him.
Barely recognize him now. Yeah, bullpen guys having a little difficulty throwing some strikes today. And Verhagen, he fell behind, as did Coleman. And Verhagen did come back to get a couple of strikeouts in his frame.
Strike call now. Full count, 3-2 on Narvaez.
Narvaez has already struck out 3 times today. So he's already got the hat trick.
Another walk here by a Tigers reliever. They had a couple of walks in the 8th.
Yeah, that is 4 walks by Tigers pitching in the last 3 innings.
Bring up Yolmer's Sanchez. Single walk, strikeout. Time called now. Griner going out to the mound. Reininger has come out of the pen and fallen behind the first 2 batters he has faced.
Yeah, Rick Anderson, pitching coach, going to join the conversation as well. Tigers will be down to 3 mound visits now.
Phil Cuzzy strolling out there to break up the confab. And now Anderson will leave. Only other game right now being played in the American League, 7-0 Boston over Cleveland. That game is in the 9th.
That game was a 0-0 game until like the 6th or 7th inning.
Quick strike offense really for both those teams.
Yep, those are 2 really good teams. 7 runs for Boston. That means JD must have homered again.
Huh, probably.
J.D. Martinez, is he the MVP for you, Mario, in the American League, or is somebody else the MVP for you in the American League right now?
I'd like to look at it a little bit closer, but J.D. has a chance to win the Triple Crown this year.
You all right?
Yeah, so I think he's my leader right now. Still a month to go, though.
There really has never been a full-time DH win the MVP in the American League. Don Baylor did it back in 1979, I believe it was, and he had about 60 some odd games as a DH that year. JD already over 70 games as a designated hitter in the big leagues this season. So I wonder if people will take into account you've got guys like Betts, you've got guys like Ramirez, you've got guys like Trout that play on both sides of the ball, and then you have JD just banging with 38 homers and 108 driven in, which leads MLB in homers and RBIs. Could you give it to him?
You can make a case for probably all those guys on that list, but I think since the Red Sox are going to the postseason, then yeah, you could make a case for them. I think if there's a strike called and didn't like it, but Sanchez out of there. I think if the Red Sox were not going to the postseason and JD say won, you know, the Triple Crown, I just don't know if that's automatic.
Well, if he does win it, he will have played the most games as a designated hitter to ever get the MVP award in the American League. What a year he has had. Really, what a 2 or 3 years JD has had.
Pretty good signing for the Red Sox. There's a strike call. Engel, the batter. Fly ball center field. Gerber scooting over. Still going back. Man, that ball carried off Engel's bat.
Engel's got some power. He's got some power. Really does. Just doesn't connect enough.
No, he's not a big guy, but boy, the ball.
He's strong. He is strong, though. He got a nice body. He is strong. Nice athletic body. They call him the man of steel.
Well, he calls himself the man. I don't know if they do. Here's Tim Anderson now, the final opportunity for the White Sox. Single and 4 at bats. Runner going to second, rolled to third, foul.
Yeah, it's a broken bat there for Tim Anderson right off the end of the bat. He'll have to change that one out and get another one. And nice little breaking ball there thrown by Zach.
Reininger trying to put the finishing touches on this one. Tigers lead 7-2. Here's the 0-2. Popped him up. Should do it. Ducey at first base. And the Tigers win game 1 of the series.
Tigers continue to dominate these White Sox.
7-2 the final score. Now we'll send you to the Call Sam Studios. John Keating, Tigers live postgame.
Mario, thanks. The Tigers didn't lack for baseballs in their bullpen. They sent 3 of them in that direction. In support of Matty B, who had more issues with pitch count than with White Sox. There was great defense in this one, and collectively it was all to the delight of the skipper. Craig Monroe and myself with Trevor Thompson of the Clubhouse. Tigers Live coming up.